And so this is like a funeral, and this is a new birth. So you get, from baptism, you get a clear new picture. And we see in Romans chapter 6, verse 3, it says, "Do you not know that all of us who have been baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death?" So we are being baptized into his death. So when you're going under the water, you are dying there. Your old life remains there. Your old thoughts and desires and everything remains in water. When you come out, it's like being born, like when a child is being born out of water. You know that in the womb there is water. And the child, when comes out, like the child is coming out of water. And this is the picture, like when you're coming out of the water, you are a new creation. You are like fresh start with God. This is what baptism is also about. In Galatians 2:20, it says, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God." So I don't live for myself anymore, but I live for Jesus. And the life that I'm living for Jesus from this point on. So you have made your covenant, you are on the go with Jesus together, and it's not like an equal covenant. God is a higher entity in this covenant. I hope you have already figured that out. So you are making the covenant on his terms. So he is the leader of this relationship. Just the same way as the man is the leader in the marriage. It doesn't mean that the wife is not important, but it means that the man has to have the final word. Even if somebody doesn't like it, I don't care. This is what the Bible is teaching us. That the head of Jesus is God. And the head of a man is Jesus. And the head of a woman is a man. This is the hierarchy. Is the husband, yeah. This is the hierarchy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it only applies if you are married. Like in this, otherwise Jesus is your head as a woman. So from that point on, you need to be obedient to God and follow him down the road. The third thing that it does, so first it's like a marriage. The second, it's like a funeral and a birth at the same time. And the third one, it's an appeal to God for good consciousness. This is what it says in 1 Peter 3:21. "Baptism, which corresponds to this, now saves you. It's not the removal of dirt from your body, but an appeal to God for good consciousness through the resurrection of Jesus." So what does it mean? Okay, I know it's not easy to understand. It means that you are begging God to have a correct consciousness. So it means that like at the fall in the Garden of Eden, people have went away from God, and they started to they ate from the tree, and it meant that basically they are going to define what is good and what is wrong. They were the highest authority of themselves. Now here, with baptism, you ask God, please clear my consciousness. Let me say what you say good and what you say wrong. From that point, this is the reverse of what happened at the garden. You are asking God with baptism, like this is like a prayer. This act of faith is like a prayer. God, please give me a good consciousness. Consciousness means conscience, conscious. Con means together, science is knowledge. It's the same in the Greek. Syneido. Syn is together, eido is to see or to know. You want to know together what is good with God, and you want to know together with God what is wrong. So this is what this is the third thing that baptism do. And let me give you two biblical pictures from the Old Testament that is like pictures for baptism. The first one is flood. You know, the flood of the Noah Ark, and actually it's referred in the New Testament as like the picture of baptism. So the earth was full of evil, so God decided to wash it off, but he has saved 8 people out of it, and then from 8 people he started a new humanity, basically. So what's happening? You get a completely new start. The sins are washed away, you get a new start. And the second picture is when Israel is going out of Egypt, and they cross the Red Sea, and the Red Sea opens up, and they go and they walk through the Red Sea. So what's happening? They have just started to decide to follow God, like just started in a few days before, that they are, okay, now we are going with God. And they go to the Red Sea, and then God opens it up, they go through it, and then the Red Sea comes together, and the Egyptian army is dead in the Red Sea. They remain there, and they die, and that is becoming like a divide, that like a border between you and the previous life, between you and slavery, between you and the slavery to sin. So that's like a completely new start that you have with baptism. Okay, we could actually explain it a little bit more, but I think these give you pretty much the picture. And then for the end, 3 practical questions when it comes to baptism, and one is going to be your question. Who can be baptized? Who are the people that are ready to be baptized? It's very simple. Someone who believed and made Jesus Lord in his life. Okay? This is the prerequisite of that. But it says that those who believed and were baptized are saved, and those who don't believe are going to perish. So there is also like a prerequisite of faith, like faith and making Jesus Lord. So who can do that? That's a conscious person who can do that. Like infants cannot make decisions on this manner. So I would say, and this is what also the biblical narratives are giving us, that it's those that can make a conscious decision, and those who can have faith. And this is, I would say, it's adults who can be baptized. And how are we to be baptized? Again, it's like, is it sprinkling or whatever? We have already talked that the word to baptize is submerging, so basically going underwater, and this is also what we see when Jesus and John they were baptizing. It says that they were baptizing close to the Jordan because there was a lot of water there. Why do you need a lot of water? Because you have to dip the person under the water. Otherwise, they could do it in a town, or like they can do, just sprinkle or whatever. They could have done it in a town, but no, they needed like a river where they got baptized. Okay, so it's submerging. And the third one, who can baptize others? This is your question, and this is the last one. There is no biblical regulations on who can baptize people. I would say that anyone who has been baptized, because if you haven't been baptized, then you should first get baptized, and then. But anyone who has been baptized can baptize, just the same way as anyone can preach the gospel. Anybody can lead someone to Jesus. Anybody can pray for friends. You can also baptize anyone. In biblical terms, there is no difference between Christians. There are no priests and laymen. We have made in churches differences, and different churches require different education for priests and whatever. But when it comes to the New Testament, who can baptize, or who can even to offer the bread and the wine, there is no prerequisite for that in the Bible. It's just simply whoever wants to do it, they can basically do it. So, yeah.
And how is this going together? Like, let's say, in that case, like for example, Sarah and me want to get married, but we cannot get married in church because she's like officially not baptized. So if we now, let's say, get baptized, or she's getting baptized by somebody who is not part of the church, how does that like kind of goes together with like the official, let's say, way of being baptized in some way?